ways to celebrate our organization. I want to first of all say, and I think Tamara said this earlier, that we need to celebrate all of the contributions of all of our volunteers have made to the organization and community, as well as in improving your knowledge of horticulture. So those are all very important things. As far as specific celebrations this year, 48 of our Extension Master Gardeners were recognized in a special edition of the Weekly Update for their 2019 accomplishments. And I'd like to take this opportunity to say, give a special thank you to Marcia Schultz, who's the editor of the Weekly Update, and also to the membership committee for preparing such a quality document, and also for hand delivering the awards to the recipients. That was super. And although we like those face-to-face events, I got to tell you, I was super impressed with what we came up with as a substitute for recognition. We were able to welcome 18 new emeritus members in 2020. And I don't know whether you all know it or not, but that brings our total number of emeritus to 114. So we've got a lot of people that have been around a long time who have just a wealth of experience with the organization. Recently, we got 2 new advanced EMGs in the organization, and anybody who has achieved that advanced status knows that that's quite an undertaking, and that those 2 individuals are extremely dedicated to the educational part of the program. So we applaud them and welcome them to that group. We've got 15 interns have become certified this year. So that is great. In spite of all the challenges, they have joined the become certified. So that's really good. And then we finally, we have 51 students that are enrolled in the fall EMG training classes. 25 of those students are enrolled in the chapters program, which Tamara and Kathy are running. And that goes, they're in the middle of that. I know they had a class yesterday. Their graduation is scheduled for November the 18th. We also have 26 students that are in our area that are enrolled in the state online training program. And I know that several of them have already contacted Tamara expressing interest in actually joining our chapter. Now those students have until the end of the year to complete their training. So again, I think there's congratulations to all. Okay, and I put this down as kind of a tongue-in-cheek accomplishment, and that is the recognition that Zoom meetings have replaced face-to-face meetings, presentations, and training classes. And I tried to put a list here of all the various meetings and presentations, even mingles and things that have been done via Zoom. So I would say that from a good news standpoint, that more EMGs are attending Zoom meetings and training sessions. I mean, that was actually a real positive. I can tell you we've got more people attending board meetings, more visitors to the board meetings than we've ever had before. And I do know that I think Tamara and Kathy have reported that they've had positive feedback from those that are in training right now, saying that this is the first time they've really been able to get included in the training because it has been virtual. So there are some good things coming from that. Other good things, we don't have commute time to contend with, and we can attend Zoom meetings from the comfort of our own home and dress more casually, if I can say. Some of the challenges, I think you've witnessed them in this meeting today, it's just the whole learning how to use Zoom and how to make it look like we know what we're doing. So learning Zoom has been a challenge. Internet connectivity can sometimes be a challenge. And of course, adapting to this new way of doing business. But one of the things I'd like to do a shout out to, and Chris is on this telecon, is that for the first time, the Speakers Bureau has done a virtual presentation, and they did that on the 23rd of September. Chris presented, and I see if I can say this right, Send Pesky Pest Packing was the title of the presentation, and she made that to the Lakewood Garden Club, and I understand that that club has 89 members. So that's kind of the first out of the box from that particular category, but I think that's really exciting. Because I do think that going into the future, we may still have people that are concerned about getting together, and Speakers Bureau found a way to get that done in spite of the restrictions. So thank you all for that. And also for the mingles, we were able to do a mingle that was virtual, and I think that was very well received. And Marty taught us how to do photography in that one. So hopefully we'll see more of those in the future as well. And I've got several slides of accomplishments. So congratulations to everybody for all the things that have been done so far, in spite of ourselves. We got the bylaws approved, revised and approved, and that happened on July the 1st. The major change there is that we were changed from calling ourselves a board of directors to an advisory board, which means that we get a lot more guidance and direction provided by the extension, in particular Tamara, who's our chapter coordinator, and we really appreciate the advice and guidance we get from them. I think it's made us stronger, so we appreciate that. We have a new recognition guidelines document, and sometimes things come about because of need. What we find is we have a lot of people that filter in and out of the organization, and we had some guidelines that had been written, I think, back in 2017. But when we got into the whole thing about having to figure out new ways of doing business and kind of understanding exactly the types of awards, the definitions, and the processes, we had our current group from the membership committee sit down and really try to define how the program's supposed to work and how people get recognized. So that was a big effort. A lot went into it, and I can say that it's been successfully completed, approved by the board, and it is on the website for anybody who wants to look at it. And better yet, next year when they get ready to do recognition again, they'll find it a lot easier to do because they took the time to document how it was done this year. So thanks to that group for that. This was a big one. The 16 community garden project plans have been completed. So I know that both Frank and Gretchen went out and they've met, or I don't know, they probably did more virtual things than they had planned on, but they sat down with each of the garden coordinators and tried to better understand the mission and needs of those different gardens. And as a result of that, they prepared plans. And those have now been posted on the website, and they are linked to those community projects. So anybody who wants to dig a little bit deeper in understanding the gardens and what they're about can go to the website and pull up those project reports and read them. And I think it's really helped me understand the organization. So if you're interested in working at a garden, take a minute to look at that and learn more about it before you go out. The last bullet on this slide talks about, yay, we have a new chair and vice chair for the public relations and garden tours committees. And that is big. That is a big deal. We thank them so much for becoming leaders in those organizations. And both groups have already been successful in identifying members to help them. We would ask you that if you're interested in either one of those two groups, they've got plenty of room for more members, so please consider that as an opportunity you might be interested in. And we keep rolling here. This is a monumental one, and it's been really overseen by Tamara and Kathy, and that's the Tuesday Tips video project. 2 of them have actually been completed. The first one was Dig and Divide, and the second one was How to Winterize Your Garden Tools. So those have been completed. You can find them on YouTube and on Facebook. And my understanding is there's already 4 to 6 more being under production and hope to be produced and complete, or at least be completed by the end of the year. We ask that if you go to YouTube, there's an opportunity to subscribe, like, and share. Please do that. They've put a lot of time and effort into these videos, and I think that they are really good and interesting. And I know I've learned some things, particularly about the tools when I watched that video. So please check them out if you haven't had a chance to do that already. I will tell you that on the next one, I've been putting together the third quarter report. And as of the third quarter, end of the third quarter, which was September 30th, the gardens had already reported that they have harvested and donated over 3,000 pounds of produce. So congratulations for all of you who work those gardens. I mean, I know we got a late start, but man, we're going gangbusters. I think we've had a good weather year for producing vegetables in the garden. So thank you for that. And I believe Tamara said we're still harvesting. So get out there and help if you can. The hotline office is reopened. That's a biggie. If you didn't know, Blue Springs office was closed and it had to be relocated to the Jackson County Extension Center at River Market. And that has been done and it's been set up, and Chris is working from there today. Thanks, Chris. So both the Kansas City and Clay County offices are now open, and that's a big deal. Clay County is open on Tuesdays and the River Market is open on Thursdays. When those two offices aren't open, we've got people behind the scenes working from home to respond to voicemail and email questions. So I want to, put out a special thank you to all of the hotline people who have been doing that, because I know it hasn't been easy. Thank goodness we put some work from home procedures in place during the winter months, and I think they've served you well. And I believe you've actually improved on them. So thanks for that. I know that maybe our calls are a little bit down, but I have no doubt that they will grow as we have more and more offices open. And I think Janice told me this week she actually had a walk-in at Clay County, so that's pretty exciting. The last one on this list, we talk about advertisements for volunteers in the weekly update and on the website. I think that's a pretty big deal. If you're new to the organization and you're trying to figure out where you can volunteer to work, this is quite an enhancement. You'll see advertisements posted in the weekly update, and they are linked to the website. So if you miss the weekly update, you can always go to the website and you can open up the file and see all the various jobs that are out there and open and looking for people to help. So I think that's a big plus, because before it was kind of a word of mouth activity and not working as well as I think this will work for us now and in the future. And now let's move into plans. And I think some of this Tamara talked about earlier, and I'll cover it briefly again. The first one on the list, and she didn't cover this is membership directory. So I think everybody should be fairly familiar that there is a membership directory on the website. And it's one of those locations where you can go in and you are supposed to keep your own information up to date, like your name and address, key contact information. And now we've revamped it so that it is a place where you can go and you can load your own skills in, whether you're good at leadership or computers or accounting or have some particular horticultural expertise. You can load that into the membership directory, and then other people, particularly committee chairs who are looking for help in a specific area, that becomes a source for them to seek you out and ask you if you can help them with whatever particular project they're working on. So that is just almost done. I know it's, I think I talked to Karen and she said that she thought that it was just about ready to roll out. So we're excited about that improvement. The next one on the list is the Coach and Project Mentor Program. That is, we've had mentoring programs over time, but this one I think is really putting some meat in the program. It's creating some structure and general program improvements. It's kind of a three-parter from what I've seen. The first part tells the trainees and interns what the mentor program is. The second piece tells the coaches and project mentors what their positions are for, what they're supposed to do. And then there's a third document that's a process document. And if you take all those three together, it really it shows you a very solid program that I think is going to pay big dividends to us as people actually work through it. So I'm excited about that. We're still, it's been in the documents have been developed. They need to do some more, we need to do some more vetting with them, but I expect that to be completed for sure by the time the latest trainees graduate. So that program's looking good. A membership survey, and Tamara mentioned the membership survey that should be out in December. And yeah, Tamara, it's been a while. Even though the website says we do it annually, I'm only aware of one that we've done, and it's been a number of years ago. So it's exciting to get a chance to see what everybody is thinking and what they'd like to see it done differently. And I think that that's going to blend nicely with the plan to do a 5-year strategic plan in the early part of next year. I have no doubt that the information provided in the survey will help the group develop a 5-year strategic plan. So we haven't, that I know of, ever had, well, we might have, it's been a number, it's pre-me, but we haven't had a good solid strategic plan in a number of years. So we're excited to see that one get put in place. Keep us moving forward. Kind of some bad news here is the spring seminar for 2021 has been canceled. The spring seminar committee looked very closely at that. Normal time frame to do those were in March. And based on the circumstances with COVID-19, we've all decided that we're just gonna set that to the side in 2021 and come back strong in 2022 with that. But that same group is all about helping mentor and assist in the 2 gardeners gatherings that we're gonna plan and plan for the fall of 2021. We didn't do any gardeners gatherings this year for obvious reasons. Not only did we couldn't get people face to face together, but we also lost our committee. So we're gonna work very hard to put a committee back in place with the help of the spring seminar committee, and plan for 2 gardeners gatherings in the fall of next year, hopefully face to face, and get back to Kaufman Center if we can to do those. So very hopeful about that. So don't feel bad about the spring seminar when you can feel more positive about gardeners gatherings, and maybe by 2022 it'll all be back on track. The other exciting news is the garden tour that's planned for 2021. We're looking at June in the Blue Springs area. We have a new team in place, new chair and vice chair and members, and that is looking very, very promising. I can tell you that the city of Blue Springs is already engaged in the process, and we've already found a sponsor in Colonial Gardens out there. So I think there's the people, the chair and the people on the committee have a lot of new and different ideas. So even though it's a little more on the east side of town, I think that they're going to bring a lot of new things, new ideas to the garden tour. And that will be our premier fundraising activity for 2021.